Welcome to this look at a new mod map on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. I'm here on Crocken Farm. This is a new mod map out from GameTimeTone. 318.41 megabytes download. This is a fictional place set somewhere in the UK. It's GameTimetone's first map. I have to say, I'm already sold. What do we start with? In front of me I've got a Land Rover. It doesn't get any better than that, does it? Obviously depending on where you're from. There are some required mods that didn't download automatically, but when you go to load the map up it will ask you if you want to download them. We've got the English Barn Pack by Lancyboi, the Lizard Santana 88 pickup by AFModding, the English Style Vehicle Barn Set by Lancyboi, and the British Farmhouse by MSModding. Contracts are available on this map. There are two extra crop types put in. We've got rye and field bean. If we go to the map, and you'll see this darker area here and this brighter area there, sort of a off yellow, maybe cream sort of colour. If we go across the crop types on the right hand side and go across one, we've got field bean and rye. Both of those crops can be planted or seeded, so seeders and planters will do both of them. And when it comes to harvesting, it's a regular harvester header that harvests them, so there's nothing untoward, nothing difficult, nothing complicated. It's, yeah. So both seeders and planters will put them in the ground, take them out of the ground. We can just use a regular harvester header, which is nice. Actually, we can go back onto that. So while we're on here, this is the map. Now, there are a couple of production chains in that. We've got a BGA, biogas plant, and we've got the sawmill. Other than that, there are no other production chains on here, which it kind of makes it feel a bit kind of old school. You know, there's no extra stuff put in. There's plenty of space to put stuff in for yourself. You don't have to worry about that at all. I think there's 8 sell points. On New Farmer, we start with the main farm area down here, which is 921 grand on Farm Manager and start from scratch. Fields 21 and 22 we start with as well. Field prices they're up there. We've got a tiny little, what I refer to as the verges. This bit here is 505 grand, and that takes in the main vehicle store, the petrol station, a bit of roadway. Every parcel of land on this map is purchasable. All the little places down here that got sell points on, we can buy all of them. So if you want to put placeables and stuff down, you absolutely can. So field 32 down there, looking at 124 grand. It's a fairly small field. And then we kind of work our way up, and the big fields, they're up there, you know. 1.9 million, 1.4 million, 1.1 million. I think as well, I'm finding more and more, the more I play, the more I do. When you've got a map like this with big fields that are expensive, the building up to that is a lot harder than it used to be, simply because of seasons. Even if you've got seasons kind of technically off, the crops still take a long time to grow. Whereas before you could bounce through crop cycles pretty much daily, you could really build your money up, especially if you had big fields. Now there's a lot of time in between, so to get to that point where you've got enough money, especially if you're going old school and just selling crops, you're not doing production change, you're not doing anything that makes you any extra money, it can take a while. But anyway, that being said, that's the map. We'll get around to the farm, we'll talk about slot counts in a little while. There are 20 collectibles, as you can see from our Land Rover. It's looking a little bit dirty. If we get into it, needs a bit of repair. A lot of the vehicles and machinery on here are going to need some repair, a little bit of TLC. We are at the vehicle store with its workshop trigger just here. This is also the reset point if you need to reset anything. Lighting seems very good, colour palette's nice, it all kind of works. Now, this is an interesting blend, but like I say, it's GameTimetone's first map and it's fictional, it's UK. What I will say is the roads are very big, they're very wide, which is an interesting compromise, because it does say we've got petrol station. I know it always says on maps gas station, and when it's a US map I'm more than happy to say that, but in the UK, petrol station, gasolina, just there. Oh, I know, still doesn't matter what map I'm on, I still pull out in front of traffic. But what I'm finding, because the roads are very wide, and don't get me wrong, we do have some wide roads in the UK, but for a kind of countryside, country lane kind of thing, and I think a lot of people will shy away from a map like this. They'll see, oh, based in the UK, tight country lanes, fences, hedges, walls, it's going to be a nightmare. It's not. It's a nice compromise between all of that. You've got quite wide open roads. There's not a lot of fencing, if any. I'm trying to think if I've seen any fencing. Hedges don't have collisions on. You've got a lot of space, so if you're using mid to large equipment, you could get away with some big stuff on here. Having travelled not extensively around the UK, but travelled a bit around the UK, it has an interesting feel, because obviously, it doesn't look like the UK, but Lincolnshire, very open, very flat, and down to the south of this map, it feels very kind of Lincolnshire-esque, but also kind of Wiltshire, Gloucestershire, that kind of up the northern part of the map where we are now. Sort of sweeping, rolling hills, very open landscape, down Dorset way. It's got a feel of a lot of stuff. Not all of the UK is tight country lanes, and some of it is, of course it is, but I think this is done well as a compromise between all of that. Anyway, we're up at the biogas plant, northeast corner of the map. We've got a debris crusher. We've got 2 sell points. We've got BGA Bay 2, which is this one, and BGA Bay 1. So depending on which way around you come around, it'd be 1 and 2. I'm going this way, so it's 2 and 1. And the biogas plant is just there. The land can be purchased. The biogas plant, I think, is worth, I want to say 1.1 million or something. Actually, while we're here, it's probably a good time to talk about that, about purchasing. So, I'll leave into money. So if we hop out, I need to put a bit of money in, but as far as mods put in by the map maker, there are no vehicles or machinery. As far as build mode goes, we've got the required mods I've already spoken about. So if we come down, for example, into sheds and we roll across to the end, you've got the English barn pack, you've got the English style vehicle barn set. There's a few bits and bobs in there. Under silos, we've got this one on the end. This is a Crocken farm mod, so added in by the map maker. It's a Farmer 500 with OBI 1000 silo, but it's 25 million litres, and it's a multi-fruit as well. That's at the main farm. We do start with that. There's yes, silo extensions. Yes, we've got a manure heap extension. There was nothing on the container tools. Farmhouses required mod, the British Farmhouse mod. Productions, I don't think there was anything. Oh yeah, it was the biogas plant, that's what I was just saying. So that's on here. So that's 1.18 million. Now usually on a map, when a biogas plant costs that sort of money, to buy the plot of land will cost that plus the cost of the land. On this map it's not. You buy the land and you get that biogas plant. Now it's a standard biogas plant once you've got it. We'll do that in just a second. There was nothing under greenhouses, orchards or generators. Animals as well, we have got some changes. Not with horses, but cows, pigs, sheep and chickens. As you can see on the cows out on the end there, that's the standard in-game 518,580 cows. This one, the modded one, 560 cows. So we'll see as we go around, but the animals have got increased capacity. And like I say, we'll talk about slot counts when we get round to that as well, because that's something to be aware of. But also, they are here to place. Some maps, if you take them away, if you start on a different game mode, they're not available to put in, but they are. They're on here. So we've got some increase on those. Under decoration, I don't think there was anything. No. But under landscaping, we've got some additional painting textures, quite a few in there. And then under trees and plants, I don't think in trees. No, but plants we did. Yeah, so here we've got some Crocken farm, some extra grass textures, Rumix up here. There's a whole load of stuff. So yeah, there's a few bits and bobs put in there by the map maker, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is quickly jump into here. Don't need too much, just enough to be able to afford it, because I don't think I need any money for anything else as we go around. Like I say, there's no other production chains to buy that might sort of stand out. So if we go from there to there, so we're up here. This plot of land will set you back 151,000. Buy that, and do that and that. We now own the biogas plant. We don't have to buy it separately. So 1.18 million biogas plant, 151 grand. We get the land and we get this. Like I say, it's standard, 24 cycles per month with our recipes. 4 things coming in, digestate coming out. So that's the biogas plant. I'm going to head back down now. It's a little bit of drive in between everything, because like I say, it's not a map that's packed with loads and loads of sell points and loads of production chains, which it could have been, and in reality you could put a load in if you want to. I'm just thinking, am I going the right way back down? Yeah, probably should go that way. Yeah, which the map maker could have done. They've given you the scope to put them in if you want to, and not have the slot count too high, because there's loads of stuff on there that you might not want to use. It's always a, you know, it's a difficult one, isn't it, when you're making a map and when you do map tours and when you're playing on a map. Do you want a map that's packed with stuff that's there, so if you want it, you can use it, or do you want a map that's got plenty of area to put that down if you choose to have it? Some maps are good to go, everything's on it. Some maps are there to give you the scope to, you know, make it what you want, really. And I can see both arguments for both ideas. Anyway, back down to the road. We're going to go left and then we're going to head around. So like I say, there's a bit of drive in between. We get a chance to have a look at the lovely scenery as we go. Make sure I drive on the correct side of the road. When I say correct, I mean for the map. I'm not doing that whole, this is the only way to drive on the right side, on the left hand side of the road. Restaurant, sell point just here. And then we're going to head right the way down the eastern side of the map to the southeast corner. Watching out for traffic at the crossroads as we go. The road signs are really nice as well. They're little, you know, the street signs. On our left we've got a pond coming up. That is a water source, so if you need water and you haven't got a place, but when you can get water from there, it does say in the description opposite field 30, which is that field just there. So this pond is a water source, should you require it. There's a bit of forestry, northwest, and as you can see down here, southeast as well. So if you want to do a bit of forestry, you can. Like I say, these, I mean, like I say, we do have wide roads in the UK, you know. But it is nice that they are wider. I don't know, I'm kind of torn. I do like British maps. I like that tight, because it just makes you feel like you're at home, you know. It feels normal. You know, where I live, a lot of the lanes and stuff when we go out to the countryside, especially now I've got my van, my camper, it gets a little bit naughty here and there, especially if something a little bit bigger comes the other way. So it's quite refreshing, I must say. So here we are at Crocken Farm Shop. This is also a sell point, southeast corner of the map. A little bit of woodland around it. The sell point is just there. So we're now going to go across the south of the map, southern part. And like I say, this is flatter. The southern part is flatter and it sweeps up to the hillier stuff to the north of the map. And there are other parts, you know, if you live in the UK, there are other places in the UK that are going to be similar to this. As I'm driving along, I'm looking across thinking, it's always funny that you get that kind of a view and you look out and think, oh wow, that reminds me of, you know, it just comes straight to your mind, you know. Wiltshire and Gloucestershire pop to my head straight away, and then you've got, like I say, the flatter areas, especially when we drive up to Lake District, up through Lincolnshire and that kind of stuff. Peterborough way, it's got that kind of, that feel. So anyway, right the way across to the other side of the map. I told you it was a bit of a drive, and to be fair, the Land Rover only goes 46. It's not, the pickups go a little bit quicker, but I don't mind. I always find it fascinating. I know when I do like videos and stuff, I'll try to pick, especially like vehicles like this, if you're doing thumbnails and stuff, a bright colour, so a colour that stands out, doesn't necessarily blend in with the background as much. But it's always when you go on a map like this choice of Land Rover, this colour, I probably wouldn't have chosen. But you look at it and think, it fits, it's absolutely perfect, there's bang on. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? And that happens. Anyway, I don't know, I think it is, but. So, livestock bales, sell point is just there. And then we've got the animal dealer, just here. If we come back out onto the road, there's a little entryway just round here. Like I said about the road signs, we're on Crocken Road. We were just going on Giants Avenue, that bottom one's Giants Avenue. So in here we have got Crocken Grain. This is a sell point as well. Like I say, this is not a grain mill, this is just a sell point, Crocken Grain. And as I said right at the start, all of these plots are purchasable. So if you want to add extra stuff in, you can. From here we're going to head up to the main farm. Whoops, I've done it again. It's Edgewater, so it's ingrained in my mind. I'm looking out across as well, because I think there's a lot of option placeable areas like to our left here for blending fields together, for making bigger fields. Obviously where you've got hedges and stuff it might be a little bit trickier, and the tree lines and stuff like this here. With the landscaping you can do a lot of stuff like that. Trying to have a look at, where are we? So I was just thinking about those two new crop types, to have a look at a couple of fields and see what the crop types look like. Just suddenly dawned on me I hadn't shown it, but that's part of the excitement of starting a new map. Exploring those new crops. I'm just thinking rye, if rye works the same as wheat, barley and oats, you'll probably get a straw swath off that. The beans you won't, but rye you probably will. So we should have a turning coming up momentarily. I'll get past this one. I've lost myself. Here we are, turning here. Now, it does say in the description that you inherit Crocken Farm. So, in new farmer mode you have inherited Crocken Farm. And what I like immediately when you drive in here, it's got that almost feel of kind of, it's a bit overgrown, with like the weeds growing through and stuff like that. It sort of needs a bit of love, it needs a bit of, you know. Manure heap extension just there, so for our cows, which is just here. Now as I said, the animal barns, animal pens have got larger capacities. So the cows here is 560. Other than that, they're standard animal pens. So where the slurry points are, where the feed triggers are, that kind of stuff is all pretty much as normal. They've just got larger capacities. So yeah, 560 cows in that one. If we go out into the field round here, around this way, we've got a sheep pen to our left. The sheep pen will do 650 sheep. Then we've got the pig pen, that's 540. A few people like I say you people, it sounds awful to you people. We have got some nice, I say nice, again it depends on your view on this sort of thing. We've got some interesting shaped fields, it's a nice blend. And then here we've got our nice kind of rectangular shape fields. So if you like that sort of thing and you prefer it for your workers, there are some fields like that. But there are also some unusual shaped ones that add an element of danger and excitement to your workers. Horses, 14, just here. And we go back round to the main farm area. Now the main farm area, again, unlike a lot of English maps where the farmyard is quite tight, and I've always said that before, you've got maps that are picturesque and look just like they do in real life. I mean, absolutely spot on. Generally speaking, across the UK, and it is a generalisation, farmyards are built because of the landscape and can be quite tight and difficult and that kind of stuff. And then you've got maps that are functional, and then you've got blends between the two. This one, you've got a nice big open area, plenty of space to be playing with. We've got sheds. This is your chickens, open sort of chicken pen to a degree. That will do 720 chickens. And then we were into our vehicles and equipment and machinery. So now's the time to talk about slot count. So on new farmer it's 925, so it's not horrendous, it's not, you know, not up there, but 925. On farm manager and start from scratch, that comes all the way down to 662. But you don't start with any vehicles, machinery or any buildings or any of the animal pens. Like I said, they are all available as required mods, and the animal pens are in the build mode. So to put them back and place them, if you want the large capacities, they are here on the map. If you come onto on farm manager and start from scratch, it will look a little bit like this. So there you go. As far as start equipment goes, we can come into the menu, always do it, this one here, and scroll down to our owned items, and we can look through here, of course. So if you're ever unsure about what you start with, because it might be you haven't found something when you're going around, look in here. This is where you'll find all your stuff. I kind of bounce between either showing it in here or showing it on the map. As you walk around, you'll see the gear, but like I say, if there's something in here, you think, hang on a minute, it shows I've got that. Where is it? You can look for it on the map, of course. But in this barn here, our cultivator, seeder, roller. If we come across to this barn here, there's plenty of room for expansion. And that's to say I like that. It's that nice compromise between various different options here. Our tractors in here, turning on shed lights. We've got a harvester. It's a fairly big harvester for an English map, I guess. Like I said, again, a nice kind of compromise. A lot of times on a map like this, you would start with the little Deutz file, that kind of thing. So it's nice to have that given to us at the start. If we come across here, we've then got our fertiliser, herbicide sprayer. We've got a front mower, only a front mower, not a rear mower or side mower, but front mower, baler, and then we've got our telehandler with some equipment, and we've got a dump trailer over here. Like I said, large shelter space, and then we've got that Farmer 500 silo, 25 million litre multi-fruit, which again makes life a little bit easier. But again, if you don't want that, if that's not your thing, you don't want to use multi-fruits, or you don't want to have a large capacity one, remove it, put something else in. Not a problem at all. And then if we come around to the side here, we've got our farmhouse with wardrobe trigger tucked away in the corner here. But again, it's not... I know sometimes you do map tours and people comment and say, oh, it was a bit sparse, there wasn't enough this or... But the thing is, again, there's a lot of scope here that if you don't want this farmhouse, you don't have to have it. But then you can add in whatever you want. Any scenery, any decorative objects, any stuff, you can really make it personal to you rather than having to spend ages removing stuff before you can personalise it. So again, it's a kind of, you know, a compromise, but I like that. So this is the main farm. From here, we should continue. Out of the farm, back onto Crocken Road. There were loads. As I was doing this, I was thinking of titles for. I mean, normally I just put whatever the map's called, and I thought, well, you have released the Crocken. There's a whole. No, I'm not going to say more, but there were a few. Fields Lane to our left, to our right, to our left. We've got Crocken oilseed and grain, also a sell point. Just there. Hairpin left. And now we're heading out to the northwest of the map. And this is where it's hillier, more rolling countryside than the flatter areas down the bottom. But again, plenty of open space. It's, yeah, it's good. Supermarket on our left. And then we come up to our forest area in the northwest. If we take a left just up here. We come up to the sawmill. And that's the map. We hop here at the sawmill. So, we started off here. We went out past there, all the way up to the biogas plant. We came back down again, back past the restaurant. We went all the way down to the southeast corner, to Crocken Farm Shop. Then went all the way across to the southwest corner, Animal Dealer and the Crocken Grains. Then we came back up to the middle to the farm, went around all the farm area there. Then out past Crocken Oilseed and Grain, up past the supermarket, all up here to our forest and our sawmill. And that's the map. That's Crocken Farm by GameTimeTone. I have to say, for a first map, and like I said, I know I've gone on about it, I know I've banged on about it, but I like that compromise across the map. it works. So yeah, I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.